Chair sees quorum and calls this meeting of the Whitestown Town Council to order. I just want to make a quick note for everyone. First off, thank you for joining us as always as we get to work to do the people's business. In an effort to make our meetings a more consumable product, what we're going to do tonight is we are going to change how we do the Pledge of Allegiance. We want to make sure we continue that custom that we have and that many have across the country. And so when I call for the Pledge of Allegiance, if everyone could please stand, we'll give it a moment for everyone to stand, and you can look towards the flag that I have in my background. Nathan is going to take control of the screen, and he will then say the Pledge of Allegiance while the rest of us remain silent so that we can get a clear audio of that. So that is going to be one of the changes for this evening in an effort to improve the quality of the recording. So with that, if we could have Matt Sumner please call the roll before the pledge.
Councilman Worrell, Councilman Miller,
Present.
Councilman Baum,
Howdy.
Councilwoman Austin,
Present.
Councilman Wishick.
Here.
All right, thank you everyone. Now please stand and join for the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, everyone. Now, as we start to get into the business of the night, we'll move to first, are there any changes that need to be made to the agenda, additions, subtractions, corrections at this time?
I do not have any.
Hearing none, I will offer a motion to approve the agenda as presented. Please unmute your microphone, Councilwoman Austin.
Second.
All right, we have a second. Is there further discussion on the agenda? Hearing none, Mr. Sumner, please call the roll.
Councilman Miller,
Yes.
Councilman Baum,
Yes.
Councilwoman Austin,
Yes.
Councilman Wishick.
Yes.
All right, the agenda is adopted 4-0. Thank you, everyone. We'll now move to presentations. We have our debt report presentation from Refinancial Group. And let's see, who do we have with us from Reedy today?
I'll just unmute Mason Cochran.
Hey, can you guys hear me?
Yes, Mason, thank you.
Great, of course. So I believe you all have in front of you your debt management policy report. This is what we present to you quarterly. This is part of the policies that we started to help with your bond ratings. And this is the only one that we have to do quarterly. What we do is we present your debt capacity limit to the council and just let you know all of your current bonds that are outstanding. So if you go to page 1 of the policy, you'll see the town's current AV and your debt capacity limit being just over 4.7 million. With your current bonds outstanding being just about $1 million, you have remaining capacity of 3.7 million, 33,000 to issue more general obligation debt if you were to choose to. On page 2, we have a list of all of the town's outstanding bonds. This is a total principal amount of $39,100,000, and this is goes for all of the town's property tax debts, the utility debts, TIF debts. This is just a comprehensive list of the entire town's debts, bonds. Mm-hmm. On page 3, we have a list of all of your leases, which are total to $39,825,000. And then on the final page, we have a list of your one currently outstanding bond anticipation note, which totals 1.2 million. Does anybody have any questions about this report or any of your debts?
Questions from the council? All right, thank you very much, Mason. Have a wonderful evening.
Great, thank you. You too.
All right. Moving on, the next item on the agenda is the clerk treasurer report. Are there any questions for the clerk treasurer on his management report? All right, seeing no, move to department reports. Any questions on department reports?
Nope.
All right, moving on. Nathan or Clerk Sumner, are there any requests to speak on non-agenda items?
I do not have any.
All right, thank you.
Not have any either.
And are there any requests to speak on agenda items? Or is that also none?
I have not received any. If someone does have them, they send them through chat and I will forward all messages to you.
All right. All right, thank you very much. We'll now move on to the approval of the consent agenda.
Mr. President, I would make a motion that we adopt the consent agenda as presented, which includes item A, approval of meeting minutes from August 12th, 2020. B, claims, the August 2020 expenses, town, August 2020 revenues, town, August utility claims, which includes water operating and wastewater operating. C, approval of MS Consultants design contract for the Main Street lift station. D, approval of on-call services contract with HWC. E, consider expenditure exceeding $5,000, not to exceed $368,000, the LWCF grant matching. F, consider expenditure exceeding $5,000, not to exceed $21,000 for BFNS contracts to aid with design and bid assistance for Gateway Park. And G, approval for the Boy and Girl Scouts to use municipal complex parking lot to sell Christmas trees from November 21 to December 20th of 2020.
All right, I've got a motion to adopt the consent agenda. Is there a second?
Second.
Second.
I've got a motion and a second. Is there further discussion on the consent agenda? Hearing none, Mr. Sumner, please call the roll.
Councilman Miller,
Yes.
Councilman Baum,
Yes.
Councilwoman Austin,
Yes.
Councilman Wishick.
Yes.
All right, thank you. Adopted 4-0. Next, we'll move on to our unfinished business. This is the second read and consider the adoption of Strategic Capital Bond Authorization Ordinance 2020-19.
Ordinance number 2020-19, ordinance of the Town Council of the Town of Whitestown, Indiana, authorizing the issuance of the Town of Whitestown, Indiana taxable economic development revenue bonds, strategic capital partners project, and authorizing and approving other actions in respect thereto. Have a second read. Mr. President, I would make a motion that we adopt ordinance number 2020-19.
All right, thank you very much. We have a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
I've got a motion and a second. Is there further discussion? Hearing none, Mr. Sumner, please call the roll.
Councilman Miller,
Yes.
Councilman Baum,
Yes.
Councilwoman Austin,
Yes.
Councilman Wishick.
Yes.
All right, motion's adopted 4-0. Next, we'll move on to the new business agenda. Item A, the Fishback Creek Fleet Shop Rezone, Ordinance 2020-20.
Ordinance number 2020-20, an ordinance concerning zoning maps within the zoning ordinance of the Town of Whitestown, Indiana. Zoning maps amendments PC 20-029-ZA.
All right,
Mr. President, I make a motion we adopt ordinance number 2020-20.
I've got a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
I've got a motion and a second. Is there further discussion on ordinance 2020-20? All right, hearing none, Mr. Sumner, please call the roll.
Councilman Miller,
Yes.
Councilman Baum,
Yes.
Councilwoman Austin,
Yes.
Councilman Wishick.
Yes.
All right, 4-0. Thank you all. Now we'll move on to item B, the abatement resolution for Lord Realty Property, Resolution 2020-14.
Resolution number 2020-14, a resolution of the Town Council of the Town of Whitestown, Indiana, approving real property tax deductions in Whitestown Fishback Creek ERA number 1 under Indiana Code 6-1.1-12.1, Lord Realty Holdings LLC.
All right, Nathan, the RDC gave this a favorable and unanimous approval, is that correct?
That is correct.
All right. Well, then with that, I would make a motion that we adopt resolution number 2020-14. Do I have a second?
Second.
All right, I've got a motion. Is there further discussion? Seeing none, Mr. Sumner, please call the roll.
Councilman Miller,
Yes.
Councilman Baum,
Yes.
Councilwoman Austin,
Yes.
Councilman Wishick.
Yes.
All right, thank you all. Motion's adopted, 4-0. Next, we're going to have first read and hopefully adoption of the GO bond ordinance, ordinance 2020-21.
Ordinance number 2020-21, an ordinance of the Town of Whitestown, Indiana, authorizing the issuance of general obligation bonds for the purpose of providing funds to pay the costs of certain public improvement projects within the town, providing for the payment of such bonds from ad valorem taxes to be levied upon all of the taxable property located in the town, providing for the safeguarding of the interests of the owners of said bonds, other matters connected therewith, including the issuance of notes in anticipation of bonds, and repealing ordinances inconsistent herewith. Mr. President, I make a motion that we suspend the rules to have the second read of ordinance number 2020-21.
I'll second the motion. Is there further discussion? All right, Mr. Sumner, please call the roll.
Councilman Miller,
Yes.
Councilman Baum,
Yes.
Councilwoman Austin,
Yes.
Councilman Wishick.
Yes.
All right, motion's adopted. Rules are suspended for second read.
Ordinance number 2020-21. Mr. President, I make the motion that we adopt ordinance number 2020-21.
I'll second the motion for adoption, and I'd like to thank the council for considering this. As you all know, as we've talked about, we've been doing a lot of work over the last 4 years and even further back to plan out and to try to create a positive environment from an infrastructure perspective and a financial perspective here in Whitestown. And this is one of those pieces where we have been planning and we have the proper capacity within our bonding, as we heard in our reports from earlier, to be able to take out the necessary capital in a time when interest rates are extremely low and access to capital is extremely cheap, so that we can put this infrastructure improvement in place. And at this intersection is going to be a very big improvement from a safety perspective and help both residents current and future to remain safe on our streets. This is able to be done because our growth continues even in these COVID times, to where other projects that were in front of the line have been paid for and taken care of by the developments that are happening. And we'll continue to review these intersections. As we talked about before, we've got a review going on of many intersections in Whitestown to see what is going to be the best traffic solution as we grow, to make sure we keep our residents safe and get infrastructure in today, in now, when we have this space in which to put the infrastructure, so we're not shoehorning things back in, which is more cost effective and has a bigger negative impact on the residents when we're doing those improvements. So I would hope that the council would adopt this tonight, and I thank you for your continued support and forethought in how we move forward. Further discussion? Seeing none, Mr. Sumner, please call the roll.
Councilman Miller,
Yes.
Councilman Baum,
Yes.
Councilwoman Austin,
Yes.
Councilman Wishick.
Yes.
All right, motion's adopted 4-0. Thank you, everyone. Next, we're going to do the first read only of ordinance 2020-22. This is the appropriation ordinance for the GO bond proceeds. Ordinance number 2020-22, appropriation ordinance, Town of Whitestown, Indiana, general obligation bonds. All right,
Mr. President, I would make a motion that we actually suspend the rules and have second, no?
so as we all may remember with appropriation ordinances, we need to have a public hearing at our next meeting.
Got it.
And then we will be able to adopt. So as much as I may want to adopt this, I want to make sure that we are following all the statutes and procedures. And so I look forward to everyone's support for this come October.
Got it, sorry.
No worries. All right. Next, we have ordinance, we have item E, consider ordinance to eliminate compact fees, ordinance 2020-23. So ordinance 2020-23, an ordinance ceasing the collection of compact fees. I would make a motion that we suspend the rules for second read this evening.
Second,
I've got a motion and a second. Is there further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please say aye. I'm sorry. Back to when
Aye.
we were meeting together. Mr. Sumner, please call the roll.
Councilman Miller,
Yes.
Councilman Baum,
Yes.
Councilwoman Austin,
yes.
Councilman Wishick,
Yes.
All right, thank you. Rules are suspended for second read. Ordinance number 2020-23, an ordinance ceasing the collection of compact fees. I make a motion that we adopt ordinance 2020-23.
Second,
We've got a motion and a second. Is there further discussion? Hearing none. Mr. Sumner, can you call the roll?
Councilman Miller,
Yes.
Councilman Baum,
Yes.
Councilwoman Austin,
yes.
Councilman Wishick.
Yes.
All right, motion's adopted, 4-0. All right, next we have the first read, item F, first read 2021 budget ordinance, ordinance 2020-24. Ordinance number 2020-24, ordinance for appropriation and tax rates. This is for the town of Whitestown civil unit. All right, that was the first read, and now at what time we have? 7:20. I will open up a public hearing on budget ordinance 2021. Nathan, is there anyone from the public that has requested to speak on budget ordinance 2021, ordinance 2020-24?
Not at this time.
All right. Give it a second, see if anyone wants to chime in. All right. Well, seeing none, do I have a motion to close the public hearing?
So moved.
Second.
I got a motion and a second. Is there further discussion on closing the public hearing? Seeing none, Mr. Sumner, please call the roll.
Councilman Miller,
Yes.
Councilman Baum,
Yes.
Councilwoman Austin,
Yes.
Councilman Wishick.
Yes.
All right, the public hearing is closed at 7:21. All right, is there any further business to come before the council this evening?
I have none.
All right, hearing none, do I have a motion?
So moved.
I will
Second.
second the motion to adjourn. Further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye when Mr. Sumner calls the roll.
Councilman Miller,
Yes.
Councilman Baum,
Yes.
Councilwoman Austin,
Yes.
Councilman Wishick.
Yes.
Thank you, everyone. Have a wonderful evening. Stay safe out there, and we will see you in October.